like drag and drop, you have all the options. You just need to pick one, put over there. So sometimes I was like, why you leave this as a blank? And then what the student tell me that is, I think none of the questions are correct. So none of the options are correct for that blank. And then I said, then why you put the answer in there? They said, well, I wasn't sure, so I just put one over there. So they consider whatever they choose at the beginning was correct.
Right. They never go back to
They
actually
never
check their answer.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
And
yes.
it takes 20 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, happy to see you here. This is Alex and this is
Shan?
Shan Ni. Shan Ni Hao Ma.
Shan?
So we finally decided to do a video together.
I
It's
know.
the only time we get like time together.
True.
And the reason why we did it, because we're getting angry, because we keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over,
Yeah.
especially for mock tests.
Yep.
Okay, so before we start, I guess the most common thing that a lot of you are practicing from YouTube, you know, you're practicing from different websites, it's great, but I wanted to ask you, like, what we're just talking about a minute earlier, what kind of feedback do you think students are lacking that you give them here after mock tests that they don't get watching YouTube videos?
So first of all, I think when I check the mock test, before I check the mock test, I always observe the students a little bit. So what I found something very funny, you know, when they do the testing sound, they put it on, they just do this. testing, 1, 2, 3. Next. So what are you testing? So testing, 1, 2, 3, it doesn't tell anything about your pronunciation, your microphone has any problem or anything.
Volume.
So you need to do something that properly, at least you need to say a sentence.
So what would you recommend, like, is there any specific group of sounds? Because I heard you're getting students to do specific words, specific sounds, like a tongue twister.
Yeah, so normally I suggest students to put, it depends on girls or guys, you know, guys normally have good pronunciation. They can put their microphone here or here or here or here. It's all good as long as they are loud and deep. But girls are normally say, you need to check your positions of the microphone. Don't bend the microphone too much in the exam.
Like, don't bring it in front of your
Don't
mouth.
bring it too much because that will create a lot of air sound, you know, the strong p or b sound. Yes.
Yeah.
So normally I ask the students to do the testing. They say the given presentation is a process. It's providing the clear reflection about the picture, a lot of p or b sound. So in that case, afterwards, the students can hear clearly. Are they creating p, really strong sound?
Yeah, like as if you're exhaling,
Yes.
right?
And then
whenever
after
you
that,
listen to it, you can almost hear the speaker like it's almost
too
cracking.
strong.
Yeah.
And then after they say the sentence, I encourage them to have a deep breath.
From here.
Yeah, so if they do that, the computer doesn't record anything, that means they're good. But if the computer recorded everything about
So they put it
yeah,
here.
the sniffing sound, then obviously then they have to check the microphone again. So that's something that's like very simple and it's really important.
And what about you're talking about the read aloud?
For the read aloud part, what I found something is really funny is, you know, we have this 40 seconds of preparation time. I don't believe the exam center, the exams, you know, whoever designed this exam gave you this 40 seconds for nothing.
For no reason, yeah.
Yeah, so there must be a reason behind of it. But students do that like this.
Check their phone.
They
And then they
realize
mess
okay,
up on easy
they
words.
started to panic and they realize, oh, I missed a lot. I don't know how to pronounce this. So come on, this 40 seconds is really important. It's something that you guys need to read aloud once. At least you can hear it. Treat that 40 seconds like the real exam has started. Because once you read it once, you know, where you made your problems. You know, maybe certain words you don't know how to pronounce, or maybe there are some parts of the sentence you don't know how to break them properly. Otherwise, you know, students talk constantly. Yellow is the most optimistic color, yet surprisingly people lose their tempers most often. Yellow rooms and babies cry more in them.
And then they're out of breath.
And then they're out of their breath and they don't know what to do. So I think that's something that is really basic. Use your 40 seconds. Do a proper
For all
read
the
aloud
questions.
for all the questions.
For describe images as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now for me, the biggest pet peeve is the reading section.
Uh-huh.
So because unless people literally follow and remember the things we teach them in class, like word for word, they forget by the time they get to the mock test. So what I love to do whenever people make a mistake, and it's an obvious mistake, I make them read the paragraph out loud. Right? So if I say, if I ask Justin, if I ask you, there are many keys on the table. Without S, right? Many keys. Like you've been here long enough, even if your English is not 90 in PTE, you've been here long enough that if I tell you the wrong thing, you can see it's wrong. If I'm saying, I'm going to school.
I have to ask the audience, please.
go to school, right? It's common sense. Like anybody that has lived in Australia or in English-speaking countries knows it's wrong. So the problem is, whenever we actually force students to read the paragraph out loud, they realize, oh no, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't you do this when you're actually checking the mock test?
Yes, that's
And
true.
especially for drag and drop, a lot of students, they rush to pick the answer because they got the time pressure, and they try to go in sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they mess up the first one because they take a 50-50 guess, and they pick the wrong one. You get 3, 4 blanks wrong.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because you get the snowball effect, right? So if you pick the wrong word, and that's the word you need later, you mess it up, and that's the word you need later, gone. So quite common, we see people get 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, and then 0.
Yeah. It's funny. What I find is sometimes I check students' mock tests in the reading parts, right? So students leave a blank because reading, like drag and drop, you have all the options. You just need to pick one, put over there. So sometimes I was like, why you leave this as a blank? And then what the students tell me that is, I think none of the questions are correct. So none of the options are correct for that blank. And then I said, then why you put the answer in there? They said, well, I wasn't sure, so I just put one over there. So they consider whatever they choose at the beginning was correct.
Right. They never go back to
They
actually
never
check their answer.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
And
yes.
it takes 20 seconds, right?
Yeah, I know.
So I guess the biggest takeaway here is we repeat in class like a million times whenever we do the mock test. You read everything out loud.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're like the only crazy person during the exam in reading and everybody's quiet and you're talking. You talk to yourself. You read, okay, does this sound right? Okay, he was going to school. Okay, he was going to go to school. He was going to gone to school. No, he was going to going and he was going to gone to school is wrong. So he was going to go to school. Oh, this makes sense. But you need to actually read it out loud because if it sounds right, it's right.
Yeah.
If it sounds wrong, it's probably wrong.
And I think we need to clarify one thing because once there was a student came back, she said, I think that's a girl that you saw today. So she said, well, in the exam, I was doing read aloud the whole time for my reading. Then the examiner come to pat me, say you're too loud in your reading session. I was like, did you do your read aloud in the entire reading? She said, yeah, since the multiple choice. So in here, we are talking about read aloud. I think it's
Like
only
just
for
so you can hear it, right? Okay, I think this word is right. I think no, this one doesn't sound right. I'm not sure between good or better. Which one is okay? It's probably better. Right?
It's like a more mumbling for the for the filling blanks only, not for your reorder, not for your single choice or your multiple choice. It's just that for that particular blank, I believe. Right?
Any other pet peeves for writing specifically?
For writing, you mean the essays or summaries?
Essay summaries, both.
For writing, something is
In the
very
mock test
interesting.
specifically.
In the mock test, what I see is students are putting all the paragraphs together for your essay. There's no gaps, nothing. And then
So they don't have the right spacing in between.
there's no space. So this is everything together. So like when you look at this essay, it's like a huge paragraph. There's
It's
no
one
gap.
big chunk of text.
Yeah.
So to the computer, that's one paragraph. That's not 4 or 3.
Yeah.
So how many times should they be pressing enter in between?
So we normally suggest after your each paragraph, you press your enter key twice. So that's one line gap in between the different
And if you ever want to
paragraphs.
double check, you should be able to click your cursor in between. There should only be one line.
That should be
one
one
empty
line.
line in between.
Yes. And then another one I found is it's not that many times happening is students are having a lot of like say I and you in the
First
essay
person and
and
second
in
person.
the summary, first person, second person. Like if the passage says, I get up early morning, I did this, I took a nap, I found napping is very good for me.
And
So
they'll write,
students are doing the
therefore,
same.
I
Yeah.
get up early.
I get up early. So it's something that we don't use the first or second person. We
In
can change
academic
into
paragraphs.
people, or you can say get up early is beneficial
Getting
for
up
this.
early.
Yeah.
Or individual should,
Individual.
or he should, or she
Or
should.
people.
Yeah.
Or ones, or they, Yeah, and then another one is the summaries. I think most of the students are making a lot of mistakes for the summaries. Number one is they are considering writing summaries are multiple sentences summary, which is a one sentence summary. So it's only one full stop.
So what is it? Yeah, that's what I was
Only
gonna get.
one full stop. So I find that like students are putting multiple full stops every time.
That's 0.
Just
You're
zero,
gone.
nothing.
You're gone.
And then next one is they're writing a lot. They're writing more than 75 words, or sometimes they're writing on the dot 75 words. Even though the question says we can write in between 5 to 75, but it's too much.
Doesn't matter who you get to write 75 words. It's hard to have correct grammar in one sentence in 75
It's
words.
impossible. And then next one is students messed up with all the sequence. So students try to do this kind of thing. Read the passage, which I think is correct, before you write your summary. But after that, they use their understanding. So they try to analyze the passage, and then they put their own understanding in the summary. And then they messed up all the
They
sequence.
change the sequence.
They changed everything. Yeah.
Okay.
And then some of the students, I don't know where they heard of such thing called you need to paraphrase every single sentence. So they write a summary, they paraphrase everything.
Or some take a word from different sentence, one from here, one from
One
here.
from here, yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
make any
So
sense.
they changed all the key content words. They use like paraphrase is a good thing. I don't say no to those kind of things. But if you paraphrase a lot for your key content words, then it changes a lot. For example, there is a what is called one of the summary called Dory. So there's a Dory. Dory is a word that you have to mention in the summary. But a lot of students start to say the gifts that the bride receives. So you paraphrase this, then the computer cannot recognize this keyword. Then you are 100% losing your key contents.
And the only one I think we have left is listening. So for me, the biggest listening pet peeve, and this is how I know, especially when you get students that practice a lot, they work hard for their, with the dictations and the summaries and everything. And I'm checking the mock test, and the mock test is going well. We're correcting a few things, and then we get to dictation. And I check the first dictation, it's a disaster. Like, it's gone completely. Completely gone. They missed words in between, they changed the words. And then I go to the second and third dictation, it's perfect. Maybe one mistake, maybe two mistakes, but it's almost 100% correct. So, guys, those of you watching, if you haven't gotten the point by now, you mess up one dictation like this, it's gone completely, you don't get 79. So, because they changed the marking, we explain it to all the students that come here. You mess up one dictation completely, you're gone. There's no 79. So, here's what happens. If you get the second and the third sentence perfectly, but the first one is a mess, what that tells me is obviously you're smart enough to get it. Obviously, your listening skill is good enough. But that tells me you're going next. Oh, dictation. Oh, where's my pen? Where's my marker? Gone. And then you try to write from memory. And that's the worst reason to waste $340. You failed the exam.
Yeah, I see a lot. And then on top of that, students found really relaxed. If they do a mock test, it's very easy. Normally, text one is really easy. So they do test one very easy, relaxed. And then at the end, they don't do that for dictation. They said, "Wow, I'm pretty good. I'm very happy." I was like, the dictation is super important. How can you just let the dictation live there and not putting it in? Yeah. And then apart from that is what I found is something very interesting about listening summaries. So students are messing up the format about writing summaries and listening summaries.
They're writing one sentence and listening.
They're writing one
three,
sentence
four
in
sentences
listening.
in writing.
Yeah. And then they're writing 75 words in the listenings again, which in listening it's not right, because listening you only are required to write maximum 70 words. If you do 75,
would it be fair to say, to make it easier for people to remember, to never cross 70?
Never cross 70.
Never cross 70. Forget about 75. Never cross 70.
For both summaries, less than 70. That's it. Yeah. And clarify which one is one sentence, which one is multiple sentences.
And it says summarize in one sentence.
One sentence. Yeah, I know.
Anyways, I think that's going to be helpful.
Awesome.
Well done. See you guys later. By the way, before you sign out, subscribe right now, like this video. Let us know if you liked it. We're going to do more of these, okay? But don't leave yet. Just subscribe right now. It takes 1 second. See you guys later.